תרשמו לעצמכם לקרוא את הפרומפט רק אם אין מושג מה לכתוב. בסדר? Read the prompt only if you have no idea what you want to write about. לקרוא את הפרומפט רק אם אין מושג מה לכתוב.
מותר להדליק מהפרומפט? כאילו...
כן, כן. בקצרה, אבל תדע, הם ידעו שאת מעתיקה.
כן, ברור, אבל כאילו אין פה מקום לדעות. שאתם משפטים שם.
את יכולה להשתמש במילים, לדעת איך להעט מילים בסדר.
הפרומפט היו שלי בודק, הפרומפט זה החלק המועפר.
כן.
אם אין לך, לכתוב.
רגע, לא פתוח כאן בכלל?
מה?
פשוט אין כלום?
מה אתה צריך?
לא בצפה, אני לבד. פתוח.
בטוח, ראיתי.
אני קניתי.
Okay, good. So please turn to page 643. I'm going to give you guys 4 minutes. What I want in return is a structure. I want you guys to come up with a structure. Now, a structure, remember, this is what it looks like, right? So 4 minutes, come up with a structure, go ahead.
בשלבים דוגמאות ו...
כן, לא. אני רוצה לראות משהו כזה, אבל ברור לי שאת יודעת למה המספרים האלה מתייחסים, כן, אני לא יכול לבדוק את זה. Go ahead, 4 minutes. תעשו טבלה של pros and cons. אם אתם בבעיה, תחשבו על דוגמאות. אז תעשי טבלה...
פשוט לשם נקודות.
כן, פה זה באמת נקודות. לפעמים זה eggs ו-not eggs, pros and cons, פה זה באמת פשוט נקודות. Be sure to give examples.
אמרת רק מבנה.
לכתוב כל החיבור הזה.
wrong, right, too wrong. This event actually took place 4 days ago. This is simpler than the previous one. You don't need 4 minutes.
כן, זה חלט.
So, how much time lapsed? כמה זמן עבר לדעתכם?
כמה חצי.
5 דקות. אתם שמים לב? הזמן טס. So, exactly 5 minutes. So, you need to be very aware of the time. You need to be very aware of the time. So, I want to see the structure. Structure.
איזה structure? רשמתי את הנקודות שלה.
לא טוב, לא. את צריכה, אחרי שאת רושמת את הנקודות, הנה תסתכלו. אחרי שרושמים, after you write down the points that you want to mention, you need to choose. Now, usually, it's not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's not that. Yeah. It's not as nice, but it should be something similar to that. No.
לא, אני עשיתי את המספור למעלה.
Good. This is what it should look like. It's not, you know, she writes slightly too nicely. Yeah, זה קצת יותר מדי יפה, אבל זה אורגני, זה אמיתי. So she's going to have an introduction, and then she's going to have idea number 3, idea number 2, idea number 5, idea number 1 maybe, and she's going to have some kind of summary. Got it? It's not that complicated. It's not,
אולי רעיון מספר אחד.
She came up, Danielle came up with ideas. She just gave them numbers. And then she realized, you know, that idea number 3 is the best one, so she's going to start with it. Got it? And this makes for a very efficient argument, for a very efficient essay. Take a look. What I did here basically is I started with, you know, a leader, and I started thinking, I don't know, Benjamin Netanyahu is somebody who comes to mind as not a very good leader, for most of us at least. And he's not very trustworthy. נכון? Trustworthy, זו האסוציאציה הראשונה שהייתה לי שהוא לא בן אדם כל כך אמין. After that, charismatic, and I was thinking about Bin Laden, who it was so important to take out, כל כך היה חשוב להתנקש בו, because he was very charismatic. You see? So I'm not only going to give examples of positive people, I'm also going to give an example of a negative person who has a certain characteristic which makes him a very, very good leader for his side. And brave, analytical, I thought, by the way, that at the end of the day, even though it's the least flashy characteristic, I thought that analytical was the most important thing, so I started with that, and I moved on to 4. So 3 and 4, analytical and brave. Why? Because, in my opinion, in order to be a good leader, you need to do what's good in the long run for your, you know, people, for the citizens, right? That means that you need to be analytical. You need to see what they care about and what's not working, and then you need to make some tough decisions. Got it? So this is when analytical and brave came together. After that, I was thinking about trustworthy. Otherwise, you know, people are not going to follow you. And I also thought about charismatic, and this was done in about a minute, about 75 seconds. So I was here because this was a relatively simple task. I was able to move on with my essay. By the way, this is just background. This just gives you an idea. Yeah, somebody else, Danielle, so what'd you say? Yeah.
I didn't talk about a leader like this. I spoke about a different leader.
What kind of a leader?
A group leader.
A group leader, okay.
Like a commander.
Okay, yeah, so, so?
First he has to be organized.
Okay.
He can organize.
Yeah, good, agreed.
Then he should be able to solve problems.
Agreed, analytical, yeah.
And I gave an example.
Mm-hmm. Which example?
a soldier wanted to go for a wedding to
The
the wedding,
wedding, yeah.
and then they couldn't because she had to do something.
Okay, for example. Now, yeah, it's completely hypothetical, but if you write about stuff that you know, right? וזה קרה לך, כן? אז אם היא כותבת את הדברים שהיא יודעת, it rings true, מובן הרציונל, it sounds good. And then you write better if you write about things that you know. Yeah, what else?
ואחרון, considerable. כאילו
Considerate. Considerate. Analytical. הוא חייב להיות מסוגל לנתח את זה. You should be able to analyze. Yeah, exactly. Anyone else wants to share the structure? Yes, Lord.
חשבתי שהוא צריך שיהיה לו responsibility.
Yep. Great.
To care about the people.
Yep.
He needs to be eloquent.
Eloquent, yeah.
Laconic, passionate about what he's doing, and know how to use his power.
Good. These are many characteristics. So maybe you would be able to clump some of them together, you know, and then you will need to differentiate to say, okay, I think the most important thing is this. I think. Moreover, it sounds very nice, but you need to give examples, right? So, yeah, this is during the brainstorming is when you need to come up with examples. So here it was Benjamin Netanyahu, this was Bin Laden, and here I didn't have examples. But hopefully I would have gotten some examples while starting to tell the essay, to buy the essay. Yeah.
Able to solve problems, אני יכולה לשים את זה באותו paragraph עם ה-example שנתתי.
בהחלט, אם זה קשור, אם הדוגמה שלך היא למישהו שמסוגל לכתוב, בהחלט, yeah, absolutely. Good. Anyone else wants to share? Yeah, go ahead.
I said, first he has to have.
Has to have, yeah, that's good.
Has to have.
Has to have.
Social skills.
Yeah, social skills, agreed. So it's by the way, we all mentioned something very, very similar, right? He has to care about people, yeah? He has to be responsible, yeah? What else?
He has to have power or knowledge. I did both.
Agreed? Yeah, agreed.
Then he has to be good in making decisions.
Yeah.
Take for example, CEO of a company.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
he
by the
has
way,
to have charisma.
Yeah, agreed.
And to be concise. And I have a great example.
Okay, now here's the deal. Like Noah, you came up with like a list of about 6 or 7 characteristics. You need to be able to clump them into 3 different categories. You're not going to be able to put together 6 or 7 paragraphs. Got it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's a bit problematic. I stopped after I saw about 3 chunks of things. And that is why also, by the way, you guys took slightly longer to come up with the ideas for the essay. What was your example, by the way?
My manager from Diana.
Yeah.
He was very concise. The meeting with him, it was very short time.
He was very concise. He was down to brass tacks. It was all about, you know, it's business, no small talk. Very, very action oriented. There were action items.
יותר קל להתחבר לדברים שבאמת קרו לך, ואז אתה יכול להביא לזה דוגמא.
נכון, מסכים לחלוטין, מוסכם לגמרי. Good, got it? And then you write the essay. That's it. This is basically it. Would you like me to? This is what I usually do, and I think I did it with my TOEFL class as well. Would you like me to mail you examples? Did I mail you examples of GRE essays? No, I didn't, right? But I did mail the TOEFL class. Yeah, I did.
Was that hard?
Yes. So what I'll do is I'll mail you essays of GRE folk, of people who have fantastic English, and all of these essays are corrected. You can learn a lot from that. These are essays I corrected. So you can learn a lot. On the right-hand side, you have the original response. On the left-hand side, you have the corrected response, and all of my corrections are in blue. So you can learn a lot from it. I would suggest that if you are going to read it, then don't write an essay before you read it. If you're not going to read it, then that's a shame. But go ahead. Write your essay. But if you read it, you can probably, instead of starting with a 2.5, you can probably start with a 3.5. It's a huge difference.
הייתי רוצה עוד מאמר שלא מתוקן, ונגיד הוא 3 או 4, ומה הופך אותו ל6.
יש לך תיקונים, אם היית עושה את כל התיקונים האלה ומקשיב להערות שיש למטה, אז זה היה הופך אותם
לא נראה שזה אפשרי לקבל 6.
כן,
כאילו אפשרי, אבל לא לנו.
לא, זה אפשרי. זה לא פשוט דבר, כן.
זה צריך להיות כאילו...
מאוד מאוד מדויק.
כן.
Okay, so about 75 minutes lapsed. Let's take a break and we'll come back. After the break, what do we also need to cover? So you said sets. So sets and statistics. What about questions? Do you guys have any homework questions? How many?
About 5.